Good evening and welcome to the most positive podcast on the internet when it comes to football results. Things have turned round. As you can see, no Ollie this evening, but I have got Stevie with me, who was here last week for Jack Wilshere's first game. Not quite as a positive start as we wanted, but different story, right? On Saturday. How are you doing, Stevie? How was the game?
Well, I'm feeling really good. I just wanted to do this and you know this. You've got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up.
Nice.
We're definitely getting promoted now, right? Surely.
Oh, 100%. That's it. That's it. The how many 28 game unbeaten streak starts here in Nathan Jones and Mick Harford's honour, I think, isn't it? I mean, look, um, I don't know about you, but it was just nice to watch a Luton that had the hallmarks that we all enjoyed 2 years ago, and of course every season before that. Lots of fights, some hairy moments towards the end, but I
Very
was
good.
really pleased with it. Um,
Yeah.
any standout for you? Any standout performances? Any standout moments for you in the game that really gave you confidence that we can actually
I,
build on
I,
this
I I
win?
personally, there was so many, but look, getting that win was like finding a tenner in your pocket a year later, wasn't it? It's
Yeah.
messy, unexpected, but weirdly beautiful at the same time. So stand out across the pitch. Look, Nucky Wells, we're probably going to get onto it. He's still looking for his first goal. I'm going to rename him Google because he's always searching for that elusive goal. But he'll get it. But stand-up performances all over the pitch. And seeing the new guy, the old guys come back in, Jones, Anna Doffin as well, new guy. They were outstanding. They really were.
Oh, yeah, weren't they just? I mean, a Dolphin purely for that clear off the line. Two needless fouls first, and then that clearance off the line that kept the
Very.
3 points. I mean, and a massive impact. And Izzy Jones with the assist as well. As soon as he came on, made a massive difference.
How long was he on the pitch?
Um,
About 3 minutes. 3 minutes on the
Yes,
pitch and
it
assists.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't long, was it? Well, it was a good ball into the box. A low ball into the box, which this season, last season, we just when we have got the ball in, they've just not been the quality that we need, and suddenly it's there, and there's players running for it as well. There's not players waiting hesitantly on the edge of the area. There were two players going for that ball who were desperate to get a touch on it and put it in the
Absolutely.
back of the net. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, as you said, loads of standouts. I'm sure, get them in the comments as well. I'm pretty sure that lots of people will have people like Clark and Lamine Fanny at the top of their list. Again, Clark just running the show. Hopefully that was precautionary when he came off. But you know, do you know what? I'm gonna, because I've had a moan about him quite a lot. I'm gonna mention Naismith because for me that was easily Naismith's best performance of the season. I
He
know
almost
he
undid
nearly
it in the
cost a
end.
goal. Yes,
Nearly
yeah,
undid it
yeah,
in the end.
he nearly did. But I mean, he's playing at centre back, not left back, which is what we all want to see. If he's going to be on the pitch, he needs to be in a central position. But um, just not far less sort of aimless balls. There were a couple in the first half, but far less of them. He was much more willing to take the ball forward and help to link up the play. Just looked far more assured as well. So
Absolutely.
I wanted to pick him out, but there's loads. There's not many on the pitch who wouldn't be there. But
And I think what was really telling, Mark, was the reaction to certain instances. The clearance off the line, Mengi's reaction was one similar to how you'd celebrate a goal. And if you watch when we scored, Wells's reaction to the crowd, he really loved that. It wasn't even him, obviously not him that scored, but he loved that. It means a lot. Confidence will breed through the team. The moment they start getting the wins and the goals, everybody will want to get involved with it. And his reaction tells a massive story of what's happening behind the scenes.
absolutely right. We'll talk about Wells in a bit because of my assurance that I still think he had a good game despite some of those misses, but we'll come back to that. Kate's already gone for a Dolphin being the star. Yeah, isn't he just? He's going to be, it'll be an interesting dilemma. We'll talk about this a bit later as well about how we're going to fit players into that back line.
Your options
So
now.
options, yeah, who'd have thought that when
Options.
Mark McGuinness left? But we've now got some options, and he could play it right back. Maybe that's a possibility. Um,
The
Burley's
defense has really struggled. I would say the defense has really struggled, but a Dolphin coming in, he just had that intelligence about him. I know it took him a while. There's a couple of hairy tackles, but it's just ring rust, right? You
he's
know,
talking. I think one of the things as well we need is some of that leadership. He was talking and shouting. You could see him at all of the players along the back line as well, and that's really good to see a player coming straight in and doing it. So yeah, absolutely. What's happening with Brown? Burley mentions this 6 weeks ago, failed a fitness test at another club. That was Bristol City. I presume he's fit now. Is he on our books? Yes, he's on our books. Whether he's fit or not, or it's perennial injury, or whether he just doesn't fancy it, which is the feeling that I tend to get. A bit like the old problems with Marv Nakamba, and he's waiting for his
Who?
exit ticket in
Who's that?
January. Quite exactly. You'd know. You know him. He plays for his national team, 90 minutes plus. But yeah, so we don't know. I mean, forward players is going to be a different kind of dilemma. But yeah, Brown is one of those. There's that's the
Thing
thing.
is, there's been a lot of talk online about going two up top, and we were two up top for a huge part of the game. I'd be really interested to know which two people want up top. For me, I'd go Wells Yates. I think Wells has got it in him. But I've been seeing a lot of stuff online that when Al Hamdi comes in, who's he going to take over from? And then is there even a space for someone like Brown to come back? Well, granted, he's not an out-and-out striker, but he's a forward.
For me, I think this is the thing. Playing two up top means that we play 4-4-2, doesn't it? I think that it doesn't really always suit our midfielders who are a bit more dynamic than that. I like having Saville a bit further back from players like Clark personally. But obviously things can move around. For me as well, Brown's best when he comes off the right. He's not as good centrally. But yeah. I mean, we'll see when Al Hamidi comes in what kind of player he's going to be. He's been injured for a lot longer than we were sort of thinking possibly when we signed him, and it's not as if he was in top form when he started the season for Ipswich as well. So he's someone who was already lacking confidence.
Bromley, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolute shocking miss. Yeah, exactly. So we all know what he can do, but we've said this about Yates and Wells. They're not bad players. Neither's Adebayo, for example, last season. We know they're good players. So it's all about that confidence. We just got to hope that we can keep contributing some more goals from elsewhere, because actually I think I'm starting to see more confidence that the midfield can start contributing a bit with the goals. How Clark, by the way, hasn't scored 3 goals in 2 games is unbelievable.
I was just going to say,
ridiculous, right?
Yeah, Saville's pass though. People will look at the Jones play straight into the box. Brilliant cross, a lazy cross. He almost sat down as he was passing it. But you've got to look at that pass by Saville. He was doing that the whole game. He's had a couple of off games, but when he really wants to find that pass, he can find it. It's about distribution, having someone to give it to on that wing, and I think someone like Jones is going to set this team on fire now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Izzy Jones is the key. Absolutely showed it already. Right, shall we get our first caller in? Because we've had Si waiting for 16 minutes or so, maybe slightly longer. So I'll just bring him in. Evening, Si. Get some positivity from yourself. How's it going?
You right, Matt?
Yeah, good. Very good. We won a game of football and we got a performance to go with it. How's that?
I know. It's not usual that we have a chat about a win on here, is it?
Well, not with a performance as well. Not with both. Oh, these performances. Yeah, exactly that. But fight, all determination, all of that. What did you make of it?
I'm quite happy. I'm satisfied with what I saw. Wilshere's come in. I don't think he had much time really to influence the Mansfield game. He was in front of every possible camera in the land when it was announced he was our manager. Saville, I'm a big fan of Saville. I've been saying all season long that Saville was probably one of the most important players to come into the club over the summer. And we saw why yesterday. People are so quick at the minute to write off a player due to how things have been for the last couple of seasons. And I get it to an extent. But Saville is the exact sort of player we were crying out for ever since Marv got his knee injured. I think he's a quality player. I really do. Phenomenal. Him and Clark, where he's sitting further back from Clark, works. I think that's the way you've got to go in the middle of the park. So glad to see Izzy Jones back as well. I think that he's such a positive for us in every single way. Even when he joined us last season, he really did give us something different on the wing. and it's huge for us. And we're on a massive bounce now. Jack Wilshere's brought a feel-good factor into the club. There's no denying it. There was a risk. I thought at the time, he's an inexperienced manager. It could go badly wrong. But Chris Powell's the perfect person to be with him at this stage. Odoffin as well. So glad to see him make that goal line clearance. And Mengi's reaction to it shows me that maybe he does care about Luton Town Football Club after all. Who knows?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we got Sonny Bradley's favourite result, didn't we? 1-0 away from home. You know, it's the return of the 1-0 to the town.
I will take them every single day. I don't give a toss. Mark will tell you, I've said, me, Ollie, and Mark have spoke about this 100 million times, Stevie. I don't care about what kind of football we play as long as we win football matches. I don't care if it's 1-0, gritty, tough matches. As long as we come out with the 3 points, I am a happy man.
Name of the game, name of the game, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I would add as well, though, that we did start playing some pretty good football. That second half, we looked far more penetrative than we had done previously as well. We're playing it through the middle. Helps a lot, doesn't it? And some of those players, I mean, we talked about the midfield as well. I thought Jake Richard played very well, playing off the right as well.
But
He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you know what? He shows a hell of a lot of maturity for his age as well.
I was just
He
going to
just
say,
holds the
he's
ball up.
years above his age mentally. His football brain is so far apart. Really is.
Really exciting talent. He really is. I just want to touch on a point you guys were talking about before I come on about Al Hamadi. Haha. He's going to come straight into the team. There is absolutely no doubt that we're lining him up to come straight into the team. Wilshere himself said, look, we're just holding off in him because he's quality. That was Wilshere's exact words, I believe. I don't envision any scenario where Al Hamadi isn't playing as soon as he is properly fit. We know what he can do and what he's capable of. He had a rough start to the season with Ipswich, no denying it. But he was, like, in a way, similar to some of our signings when we went up to the Premier League. Too much, too fast. He didn't get much game time up in the Premier League. They dropped down to the Championship. Things don't really go well. But I think that we are well made for Al Hamadi to be a success here because we're similar to Wimbledon in many ways. It will be set up to try and get the best out of him. And Lord knows, if our strikers start scoring goals, we are only going up this table.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I think I agree, by the way. Al Hamadi's definitely coming straight to the team. I think he joined, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think he joined Ipswich in the January when they were in the Championship.
Yes.
So I think he did play a fair bit for them in the Championship before they got promoted. And like you said, just like our players, he struggled a little bit there. Of course he did, as he would do in that league. But he's got what I like the look about him. He's already got that kind of cockiness about him. Whenever I've seen an interview with him, he's absolutely. What did he say? Something like, Luton's right for me, but I'm also right for Luton, or something like that. It's good to see something like that. That character going forward as well. And just on the kind of Jack Wilshere and the start, and I'm with you. Chris Powell is absolutely integral to all of the things that are going right as well. Mansfield game was a penalty miss away from being a very different result. We all know that. We score that penalty, I'm convinced we win the game. Absolutely convinced we win the game. So, and the Northampton game also showed me that Wilshere's not going to play just one way. The first half was very much two sides sort of not wanting to give away the momentum and concede a goal. It was cagey. We had the most of the possession, but it was also quite a smart way to deal with the kind of conditions and the threat and it being an away game is not to throw away the game before we've got in it.
It's a windy old pitch, that Sixfield Stadium. It is a windy old pitch.
It is.
But
it's a miserable place.
It is. Go on, Si.
Yeah, I don't think we'd won there in like our 6 previous visits.
No,
20 years, mate.
I've got an amazing comparison for you here right now, okay? Because when Nathan Jones came in, he didn't win his first game. It was 0-0, I think, with Cambridge. He won his second game against Mansfield away from home, a team we hadn't beat for about 20 years, I think it was, in the league. And then Jack Wilshere's come in, second game, not one away for 20 odd years, wins. Midfielder scoring both games as well. The omens are there. I really do think so. And plus, they go to the same hairdresser, apparently. So,
Nice parallel, mate.
Does that mean we're going to lose in the playoff semi-final at home for kicking the
speak
ball
the
against our own
playoffs.
keeper? Sorry,
can't see that far
I can't
ahead.
help it. Okay,
I
I'm just checking because I'd rather not. Yeah, a lot of people agreeing on the comments, by the way. So Saville can run a game from midfield, especially in this league. Yeah, I mean, as he said, he's absolutely class at his age. We just got to make sure he stays fit. It's going to be tough when the games start piling up for him because he is becoming integral. Well, what have we got? Yeah, I think if we still had Bloomfield, he would have been right back probably. Great to put him on the left. This is in reference to Izzy Jones. Yeah, it was great to see him. Great to see him there. In a different position. I think, to be honest, Izzy Jones can play anywhere on the wing and even at full back or wing back
Izzy
as well.
Jones
He's
makes
just
football look effortless.
yeah.
Right. It was his goal last year against Leeds. I thought it was just the laziest goal to score, and the celebration to follow as well. He looks like he has fun playing, and that's what this team has missed.
Far too
I
good
think.
for League One.
Say again, sorry, Si.
He's far too good for League One, and we're really lucky.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to. We must press that advantage with players like Jones available to us. We simply have to. We need to push forward now that these players are available because we can't get stuck in this league. I say it every time I'm on it. Getting stuck in League One this season would be the single biggest disaster to happen to this club since we were walking around with buckets trying to save the club. That's how bad it would be. We wouldn't go bust, but it would severely impact us for a while.
But what we
become
can't
dormant
do
for a long period of time.
Yeah, but what we can't do, Si, is have that narrative every time. So it just adds to that pressure. You're right, but we got to just look at it. I don't want to be all cliches about it, but if we constantly say, I agree with you, we want to try and get out of this league ASAP, i.e. this season if we can. But what we can't do is keep pushing that, but we need to win narrative all the time because it just that's the problem, I guess.
We need to relieve the players of some pressure
Yeah.
because while we've all got PTSD at the moment from the last 18 months, some of these players are fresh to us. They've got their own points to prove as well. So, yeah, completely. We don't want to get stuck in this league. And I think one thing that's important is we can't keep losing ground now. We need to build on this because if we get to January and we're way adrift of playoffs, you might see the likes of Jordan Clark have their head turned. You might see Izzy Jones thinking, you know what, I can play in the Championship. And then if we don't recruit, that's a whole different story and one that we'll save for January. But we really have to keep in this race for playoffs minimum at the moment. Otherwise, we could see this going quite bad.
Yeah,
I think if we do that, what you're saying, if we're around the playoffs, things are looking rosy. I do think a lot of these players would want to stay and play for Jack Wilshere on that run-in. He's a big name. Whether you like the appointment or not, Jack Wilshere will have respect from the players that he has due to what he achieved as a professional footballer. And if things are going well with him as manager, they will be far more inclined to hang around.
Of course they will, because it's a romantic story, right? And also the players want to win. I think we saw that from Saturday, the reaction to the clearance, the reaction to the goal, Naki Wells celebrating on his own around the other side of the pitch. They want to win, And I think part of the struggle and the pressure on the players is that we had such a short squad availability so far this season. Players will start coming back, competition will heighten. Confidence will build as well. As long as we can keep getting these scrappy 1-0s, like you said, Si, I don't care how we win. As long as we get them, confidence will breed.
Absolutely.
It's a habit.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Si, just before we boot you, because we've got I think just one or two people waiting in the green room. What do you think he's going to do for the team then over the next two games? Because obviously cup games, different kind of pressure. I mean, the FA Cup's slightly different on Friday, but do you see a massive change around now for the Brighton under-21s to give him a game, or is it more about keeping confidence going?
I think he'll rotate for the Brighton game. I definitely think he'll rotate, maybe see some of the younger lads.
Because interesting, we haven't done that much in the Virtue, have we?
Nah, I'm not even fussed about it. I couldn't care less if he played the entire under-21s team for that match. That's how little I care in comparison to a league match.
Yeah, I
Confidence
get
zone,
that,
get the
but we
wins.
don't want to lose. Yeah, exactly. Let's build some momentum. I think Jack Wilshere talked about that post match as well, didn't he? But that unlike the last two Virtue games, we haven't got a week's break like we have done with the internationals before. So, yeah, you're probably right. There's going to be lots of rotation. There's lots of players coming back as well. Do you think we see the likes of Al Hamadi in one of those two games? Give him a run out.
Maybe we'll see him come on for a cameo of some kind to get a few minutes in his legs. Possibly. I'm hoping for the best, man. It's been so depressing the last couple of years. You know
Yeah.
me, Mark. I always try to be as positive as what the club gives me. And they've not given us very much over the last 2 years. I hope this is a turning point. We've had so many false dawns. Fingers crossed this one is the moment we start stringing some stuff together. And
It
yeah,
looks good.
my
It
thoughts
does look good.
my thoughts
Huddles,
go out to Ollie and fan back, and I'll let you guys crack on.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Take care, Si.
Have a good one. See you later.
you know,
Bye. Oh, he's kicked himself again. I don't know how to manage it. What did I say? A couple of things on there. Yeah. So a couple of this. Why weren't you invited to the podcast day at the club? I kind of want to make up some stuff about Ollie being blacklisted by Sweet, but we were invited. Ollie did go along. Videos are coming soon. We're hoping for next week. So yeah, we were there.
we just need Ollie to be released from that Northampton jail at the moment after celebrating on Saturday. Him and Luke Guttridge are on a porch with flares celebrating. I've not seen Ollie since. I think he's been bailed now.
Probably right. Yeah, you would see him at Sixfields as well. But yeah, so we were there. Don't worry about that. What we're going to say, why are you avoiding the fact that we look pony in defence? Northampton had at least 3 gilt-edged chances to go ahead. I think that was confidence, and I don't buy that at all, actually. Yeah. I think Menke and Naismith both had very good games. Absolutely.
I think that's just the league, isn't it? It's end-to-end, that game. We could have had about 5 goals, and they could have had about 4. You know, it's just how that game worked.
Look, I think we had pretty much control over the game. Yes, they had chances. They were a team at home, and they're always going to have chances. Teams are always going to have chances against us. And it did turn a little bit more end-to-end towards the end because both teams saw their opportunity to go and win a game, right? So that's what happened.
Nerves, I think. You know, because we're hanging on for that. I mean, look, our defense has been like free Wi-Fi recently. When you know, eventually a virus gets through, or your scammer gets through on your free Wi-Fi in a cafe. Godolphin came on. You know, he's like our new malware. It was just absolutely brilliant, and I think he'll only get better. We'll have more options, players in the right positions. But look, the guys were nervous on Saturday. I think with that 1-0 up, 80th minute, you could see that there was a few nerves out there.
This is a team that has conceded, you know, double figures in the last 3 games, and you know they are going to have nerves. It's happened. It happened. It'll happen. Things to turn around before things turned around, and we got the form that we did last season. By the way, Bloomfield, I think it took him 9 games, didn't it, for his first win? So definitely a better immediate impact. But before that happened, or on that first game, I think, but if memory serves me right, it was the Portsmouth 1-0 win at home. My God, how nervy was the last 15-20 minutes of that game? How many gilt-edged chances do they have to equalise? And after that, our form went to the top 3. You know, so yes, all right, we still went down, but you know, I think that was always going to happen. Right, we have got Mark in the green room, so I'm going to drag him in, and maybe we can talk about what happens next week as well. Good evening, Mark. How was your view of the game? I'm assuming you watched it all the way over there.
I did, and really not much to complain about. I mean, you can sit there and nitpick it if you want, but Sai covered it. I mean, you get the performance and you get the points, and I think that's really what we've been starving for. You get the points, really, that's what matters, but we haven't been convinced, and that certainly helps, you know. I thought it was good. Jake Richards is my man of the match, although that could have been given to a couple others. I'm just repeating here, but he's mature on the ball. I like to see him hold off a couple players, you know, top of the opposition's box. He was shielding players off. What is the kid, 17, 18? I mean,
it's crazy, isn't it?
This is his level. I mean, he played for Exeter, if I'm not mistaken. He had a handful of appearances for Exeter, and
He
He
played
should.
quite a lot for Exeter, actually. He got quite a lot of games, and it shows. But yeah, you're right. He's still very young.
He's
But he
he's
plays
young
no
and
fear. No fear.
yep, and I love it, and that's what you need. That's what you need at this level. I mean, at the end of the day, it's League One football, and I think you saw that at the end of the game. Naismith, I think that's a confidence thing too. That whatever he was trying to do there, but that's going to happen in like that's League One football, and I think we got the
Absolutely.
points. A Dolphin sweeps it off the line, and the biggest thing when I saw Mengi run over, my heart just got so full because we need this guy, but we only need him if he wants to play. At least that's my view. If he doesn't
Yeah.
want to be here, but yes, I mean that looks like a guy that wants to be here and the guy that cares, about picking up points. So
I think he cares. I mean, there's been a lot of people saying over the past 2 years that certain players don't care, and when in the shadow of a defeat, you do end up sort of saying it. I don't think they're into it. I don't think they want to be here, but they do. I think it's like he cares. He's been on a journey with us. He doesn't want to leave it on a sour note. If he goes in January after guiding us to the fourth place, then fair play. Off you go.
Yeah.
You've kind of redeemed yourself a bit. He wasn't at fault for anything last year. He just didn't play enough.
agree. Yeah, agree. Yeah.
I mean, I was particularly harsh on Mengi, particularly after the Middlesbrough game. Although you could have picked any players out for that one, I think that
All of them.
yeah, I think that the thing with Mengi is that we all know that he wanted to leave at the start rather of the championship season. I think that was pretty much common knowledge, wasn't it? And I think, as with a lot of players, his head wasn't in it for whatever. That doesn't necessarily equate to the same thing as what we're saying, but his head wasn't in it. He came in this season and by all accounts wanted to kind of reprove himself and has had a pretty on and off start. He's had some good games this season, don't get me wrong, but he's had some shockers as well.
He's a young lad as well. These are all young professional footballers who want to hit the top straight away. They want to be at the top of the game. They don't want to wait around. No one does. But when they've got a point to prove, I think players like Mengi will really come good this season. And if we still have him at the end of this season, I'll be so happy. I really will.
Especially if we go up.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I think you look at a lot of the players that play along the back. I mean, obviously the change of formation from a 3 to a 2 makes a difference here as well. But take Longwick, who for me is up there for me as one of the best players on the pitch as well. I thought he was excellent. Pretty much completely stopped any attack coming down that side for most of the game. Has had some shockers this season, but has also been brilliant. So we know that there's players in there. It's just finding that consistent form for all of them, isn't it?
I just think the squad's been so diminished that the pressure on players to play week in, week out at the moment. A lot of teams are playing their under 21s in this Virtue Trophy, right? We haven't had that option. We put the strong teams out, but the team is knackered. We've really struggled to put a decent squad together.
Yeah.
So Mark,
definitely.
what I was going to ask you is what was your first game watching Luton?
Yeah. So I think I've gone through the story before, but to keep it short, it was the second leg of the Sunderland playoff, the semifinal, at Kenilworth Road. That one really captured me. Just the atmosphere and the grittiness. Like, I'm just all about the 72 below. Of course, the Prem was awesome, but my friends give me a load of crap for, when there's EFL games going on, I'll sit down and watch those instead of the Champions League in the midweek, and they'll really give it to me. But for some reason, I just really enjoyed
how
the game played.
And
no one will get it. No one will get it. No one understands. Over here, it's a different story. You got Liverpool, you got Chelsea, you got Man City, Man United. That's who you meet. You don't meet Luton fans over here, and that's not why I picked them. But I just didn't feel it with the big clubs, and yeah, that second leg really drew me in.
Well, if that one's not going to, nothing is, I guess.
Yeah, well.
The reason why I asked is I wondered how long back it was and how many performances you've seen where we've. And look, I'm not suggesting that we're anywhere near that level. I'm not getting over the top and carried away.
Yeah.
But we had a team that played for each other for a full 95, 96 minutes on Saturday. And I was wondering, it must be a handful of games probably that you've seen where that's been the case, because even when we were doing well under Bloomfield, having a full game of consistency and consistent good play was difficult. And bar the last sort of 5-10 minutes on Saturday, I thought we were there. So yeah, just that really. So you've already picked out who impressed you the most. Do you think then that some of the players that came on, likes of Izzy Jones, for example, come straight in the side for our next league game away at Stockport? And if so, then who comes out of that team?
Oh, I mean, I thought Kadua was good, to be honest. I liked when he cut inside and had a shot. Yeah, that's confidence. I like that. And he struck the bar.
So
And
unlucky.
yeah, very unlucky. But as a fan, you love to see that. Guys willing to just, have it. Yeah, Izzy Jones. I mean, what did it take him? 3 minutes to expose League One? I mean, he had a couple really good runs. The ball into the box was perfect. It's what we've been crying out for. And Fanny's there to tap it in. That was unreal. Kadua, I love the kid. I think there's a real good player in there and a really good body coming off the bench for us. But you got to start Izzy if he's ready to go for that. If he can play 70 minutes, whatever he's going to do. I think he's a cheat code. I really do. I think he was a cheat code for us in the championship. He really helped us a lot. And I think, like you guys said, you got to use these players. I mean, you got to use them. I think he comes in. I think it's weird because, yeah, Richards. In my opinion, Richards has got to go again too. I think the youth. I love the youth. I love Fanny playing. I love Richards playing. You see it a lot in League One with younger players, obviously, because it's the pipeline. That's where they come up through. But yeah, for me, Izzy's got to start. Al Hamidi. I know you guys were talking about him. We've yet to see. But yeah, I can't imagine that he's going to be sitting games out if he's fully fit. I think he's got to come in too.
No pressure on Hamidi.
Yeah, right. But that was our big signing
Marquee
there. So
signing. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will say Wells was. I personally don't understand all the hatred towards Wells at the moment. I'd be concerned if Wells wasn't getting in the positions. If he wasn't in the positions to miss them, then that'd be an issue. He's there. He's there where he needs to be. A couple will go in and he will come good. I know it's a long wait. It's a long wait for a striker to bag a couple of league goals, but he's where he needs to be in the box, and that's what we were crying out for last season. For Morris just to be in the box and wait for the ball. So now Wells is there, and one will go in, and it will change. But he does care as well. You can see from his reaction on Saturday, he really does care.
Oh, he does. Yeah, when Fanny scored, he was, I think, the first guy right behind him. So he cares. You can see it, and I think he had a good game to say. Yeah, he had a couple where you'd want him to go in, but that's how it goes.
Trick, really. Just decision making and confidence. Confidence is the buzzword for this season so far, but.
We talked about this. We talked about this before the pod, and I'd said the same thing. I thought actually Wells had a good game. For me, he made a lot of when we were counter-attacking in the second half, his composure on the ball in our own half to start all those attacks. People have forgotten that because of the things that he missed, but he was brilliant at getting the ball out and starting that counter attack, and then it was him on the end to try and finish it off as well. And obviously he's a striker, so we'll ultimately get judged on whether he scores. And it's the same, but you can see the confidence that he has in our own half just sort of drain as he gets closer and closer to the goal. And it's just that, isn't it, as you said? Yeah, same with Yates. I mean, Yates, 2 good runs. He was basically clean through, certainly the first one, and you could just see that his head was not able to make the decision about where to shoot, and so was left with the only option to try and go around the keeper when there isn't the space to do it. And actually, I know the keeper came out quite quickly for the second one, but I still think he could have got a shot away.
I wonder whether we're using Wells in the wrong way. I wonder whether he was brought into the club with the idea that he would be an impact sub, and he found himself being the first choice striker. And look, he's 35, right? This league might be a bit too quick for him for 90 minutes. So if he could come on and get past a couple of tired defenders, we might see some results. But ask him to go up against fresh defenders from minute 1, he probably ain't going to do that. I think he's probably be used in the wrong way, but that's due to injuries.
100% that. He can't be the furthest player forward when we're at halfway in the opposition's half, because he can't make those runs anymore. And he was a couple of times, and you just knew he was going to run out of steam and there wasn't the support. I completely agree with you on this. And it was mentioned, so apologies who mentioned it earlier, but it was mentioned earlier in the chat as well, that he is surely an impact sub at the age of 35. So yeah, absolutely that. The sort of player that he is. we needed to use him more sparingly. But as you say, we've not had the options up front as well.
Yeah.
And Yates hasn't had the minutes that he probably wants either to get back that kind of confidence too.
Yeah.
I've got a question for Mark. Sorry, is it Mark who's called in?
Yes. Yeah.
I've got a question for you. What's your opinion on Josh Keeley? Now, if your first game was the Sunderland playoff semi, second leg, you've seen a couple of decent keepers. Well, sort of. You've seen Horvath for one game,
yeah.
and then you've seen Kaminsky. But Keeley's getting a lot of he's getting a lot of abuse at the moment for his performances, which I really don't think is that bad. But I suppose someone like yourself who's not seen many keepers, what's your opinion on Keeley?
I love Josh Keeley. That was the one I was actually most excited about when it happened. I thought last year at Leyton Orient, good season, made his mark. He's obviously he didn't start at Spurs, right? They ended up bringing him in at some point. I don't know what it was. I know he's not originally from there, but yeah, I love him. I think his ball playing ability is great. I thought yesterday he made a couple decent stops. And yeah, Kaminsky, obviously the shot stopping was his thing, and the distribution was not his thing. I think I think Keeley is going to be the better keeper all around when it's all said and done. But yeah,
Keeley kept 16 clean sheets last year for Leyton Orient, and he's kept 6 ready for us in what game we play? 13 games, aren't we? So we're 13 games in his league games. He's kept 6 clean sheets. If he carries on with this average, he'll end this season with 13, 14 clean sheets. We kept 2 last year, I think it was.
Yeah. The kid can the kid can stop shots. There's no doubt about it, but it's just nice to see him play the ball. I think we've seen it a little less now, but more at the start of the season. He had some pingers right to guys' feet, at the halfway line, just skimming the grass. And not only
great debut against Wimbledon, great debut.
Yeah. Not only is it nice on the eyes, but it's awesome to see pushing the ball. It's good.
I think people need to be realistic with their expectations on players. We talked about these players being kids. He's a kid, and as well, and young goalkeepers playing in League One are going to make mistakes. That is going to happen. But there's a lot more good about Keeley than there is bad. I mean, we talked about this on the pod quite a few times because not all of us at OK Football agree on this. I think Ollie and I are pretty aligned on Josh Keeley. But yeah, he has made mistakes. But look at Kaminsky is a really good example actually. And I was slating Kaminsky towards the end of last season because some of his decision making was appalling, but he also had no support in front of him as well. And at the moment, Kaminsky is absolutely, one of Charlton's up there with one of Charlton's best players, as is Amari Bell, by the way. Interesting. And it's sometimes upsetting to watch Charlton smash Ipswich 3-0 away from home and things like that, and see it. But you can also see that it wasn't just the players individually, and it was part of the whole team that was the issue there, and it wasn't just individual players being bad at football all of a sudden. And Josh Keeley will continue to make mistakes, but if he gets a consistent sort of level of defenders in front of him, if he gets a consistent run of the same 2 centre backs, for me is massive for that.
Yeah.
That's going to make the world of difference. And you can
teams that win promotion have a solid regular defence and they have great communication with the goalkeeper. No teams get promoted with a rotation of defenders and goalkeepers. We came close to it against Huddersfield, I think, in the playoffs semis that year, but had about 8 goalkeepers in me at one point. But no one's ever going to go up with that. And if we got to that playoff final, I think we would have been in for a hiding anyway.
Yeah, well, totally the referee was playing for him in that game anyway, weren't they? So, but I mean that season was ridiculous. But as you say, I think it's that consistency, and we've got some defenders now in there that are more vocal. Naismith's confidence will help him with that as well. And obviously Adolfin needs to be part of the team. I don't know where you put him in, but he just needs to be part of that team.
So who's your ideal centre-back partnership then, Mark?
Oof. Yeah, I'd go. Mengi's got to be in there for me. I mean, obviously, just the quality. We saw it in the Prem. And then, yeah, I agree. Adolfin absolutely has to be in the team. I mean, I actually didn't mind Bramall at left back. So maybe for now, you keep him there because I'd like to play Izzy forward. Obviously, you just got to use that. So I'd go I'd go Mengi. Anderson hasn't done it for me. I know he's had a couple good. He's just too slow in my book, and I don't want to be too harsh on the guy because I know at Barnsley, he actually really was their guy. Barnsley fans love and they swear by him. They call him the best center half in League One, and then we picked him up, and he just never injuries, this and that. So yeah, I would go Mengi and a Dauphin for now. That's just me. I would like to see Walters get involved at right back. I know he's been shaky. That's why, Bloomfield after the debacle at Sunderland hasn't even really looked his way. But the kid's from Arsenal. He's got some footballing ability in him. So I'd like to see that. But yeah, a Dauphin and Mengi for me as of now.
Interesting. Remember, a Dauphin can also play right back as well.
He can,
so
yeah.
There is that option. That's the way to get all three. But yeah, it's nice to have the option.
Get your options.
Yeah.
Look at this.
But player of the season at Rotherham, you don't win that without heart. So that's what I want in the team, especially at the back.
I'll do my weekly Anderson pro Anderson point, and then I'll stop talking about it. I promise. And this is mainly to wind up Ollie, who's still in the chat. And I've just come back actually from Copenhagen, so land of the Great Dane himself. I think you need a defender like Mads Andersen in League One. That's all I would say. He heads away everything. We've seen how many teams have we played against, and Northampton are included in this, that play that direct football. And I like knowing. I'm not saying he has to start every game at all, but I like knowing that you've got a player like that can come on for the bombardment that happens in 9 games out of 10. He will head it away. You're right about pace. His passing game can be woeful at times. He's not quick enough, but in the box with crosses coming in, I don't think there's a better defender at the club that can head the ball away.
Well, Anderson scored the same amount of goals more league goals than Yates, right? So
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anderson's the sort of player you want at the club where, it's like a knackered old car you put outside. When you get your nice defenders, and you go, look at that over there. Don't make me use that because it's rubbish. That's what Anderson is.
Yeah, honestly, I can get behind all of that. Just the way it's played, the way the sport's played in this division, it's just constant bombardment, with aerial threats and balls coming in. So, I can get behind that. Like you said, aerially. Mengi's 6 foot, right? Mengi's 6 foot on the dot. It's not tall enough in my book. I don't know what's a Dolphins height. Do you know off the top of your head?
This is a good point you're making, Mark, right? Because when we did the transfer window in August was like, we had Long White come in, 6'4". Someone else was 6'4". Someone else was 6'3". Someone else was 6'5". And it was like, we're going to win every aerial duel. And it took about 5 games to win a header, So it's yeah. But Dolphin's tall as well, isn't he? I don't know how big
he's
he is.
Tall. Yeah, I don't know. He's tall. They're all tall, but you're right. I mean, Mengi makes up for his lack of height and just what a massive guy he is generally. I mean, he's just huge, isn't he? Long White's got to be the tallest player we've got, surely. I mean, the guy's ridiculous in terms of how tall he is, but yeah, we don't have our kind of little players like Roy Walters trying to head balls away at the back stick as much as we did. So we should at least have the option to be able to defend the set pieces a bit better.
Yeah, Mengi Anderson, Mengi Lundvik, maybe a Dauphin out on the right side. I don't know, but it's a good problem to have, to be honest with you. At least the way I look at it in American sports, you can never have too much depth. You got guys, it's tough to choose from, but you rather have more than not enough. So, we've got
Jack
the players.
Wilshere laughed about it in his post-match, didn't he? He said he's got some issues, but they're good issues.
Exactly, 100%. The issues you want to have.
Absolutely that. Okay, cheers, Mark. Thank you so much for joining, and fingers crossed you get to see another positive result. Well, Friday next week, isn't it, the cup game? So,
looking to come back over
in the States.
Looking to come back over in March. It's my spring break, so a double game week. I think it's the Exeter midweek, and then I don't know who's on the Saturday, but I'm trying my best. We'll see.
Make sure to say hello. We'll catch you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for the chat, guys.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye. All right. So, some really good points. I think most people are saying pretty much the same thing. a couple of points that have been mentioned as well on Makosso. So Burley's just mentioned it, but it was mentioned earlier in the chat as well. What's happened to Makosso? We didn't get any update, I don't think, did we, on this, on what's happened to
No,
him, because he wasn't featured in the squad. I'm going to
he
guess
might be
maybe
claiming illness
illness.
that Ali's got. I mean, if not, I think he looked a bit drained. He probably just needs a bit of a break. He's been playing out of position. You know, he's been getting a lot of stick as well. It's not his fault. English ain't, well, you know, there's this whole language barrier, which they do talk about sometimes. I think it's probably just a mental health break, really, for him, you know, more than
Yeah.
anything else. Again, we've got a very young squad here, you know, and they are going to have to be looked after. We as fans, I think, we want what I've said it before, and I've been shot down about it. We've been spoiled a lot over the last sort of few years, and I think our expectations need to align with the squad that we've got. We've got a very young squad that will come good. We can't push them too hard too soon.
Yeah. I know. I agree. I think that the issues in the past have been that we've not seen a sign until very, very recently of kind of a plan on how that's going to happen. And it's less to do with the individual players and more to do with kind of like, where are we going? What kind of football do we want to play, etc., etc. But you can really start to see, you know, what Wilshere wants to do with this team. And most of it's attacking, so that's really good to see. You know, we've got, as I think he said it in his post match, that our major strength should be in attack, right? That should be our major strength with all the players that we've got there.
Well, the Pep Guardiola style of football ain't going to work in League One. You know, we certainly
No,
haven't recruited to knock it about, you know, 25, 40 pass periods before we finish something really spectacular. And someone said earlier about, you know, Northampton could have had a couple at the end. Yeah, of course they could have done, because that's the nature of this league. You know, it's smash and grab some weeks. You just want to make sure that you're the one that's smashing it and grabbing it, you know. And away from home, if that's what we play like and that's what happens, then I'll 100% take it.
absolutely. Right. Okay. Should we move on? Talk really briefly. I know we'll probably do this in the midweek chat as well, but we talked a little bit already about the cup and possible changes we've got for Brighton under 21s. We win that game, we're through, I believe. We only got to
Yeah,
win the game, we're through. So we can put that Cambridge performance and result behind us pretty quickly. So I asked Si this earlier, but, you know, it's really about, you know, big changes or small changes in the hope for momentum. What do you think?
I think we need to go into it with the right mentality to win the game with players that we know can win the game. It's easier said than done. Let's get ahead in that game, and let's make mass changes afterwards. Get some of the players on who need the minutes. But I would like to see us go into that game taking it seriously. You know, get a few goals. Just make sure the game's won. If you can do that by half time, wholesale changes second half.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that we've got, as we've been talking about, we've got the depth in the squad that should be able to cope with that as well.
Yeah,
You know,
of
we've
course we
got
have.
players, as we've said, coming back that will want some minutes. They're not going to play full 90s. If Izzy Jones plays a part, he's not going to, even if he does play a part, he won't be playing a part for the whole game.
No.
The same is true with the Dauphin. The same will be true whenever Al Hamadi's comes back, and all of these players. You know, it's you're not going to get full 90s from any of them. But it's just, as you
You're not.
say, it's getting the
It would be a
confidence.
game. It would be a game for Wells. It's a game for Wells. I think we need to get him a good bit of supply. Help him get a couple of goals. Get his confidence up before the reflow derby on Friday.
Game for Nordas. What do you think?
I think it probably is. You know, he's sort of fallen under radar a bit. I just don't think he's a very attractive footballer, is he? To some of the management, I don't know what it is.
I have mixed feelings on Nordas. I think he's a better player on the floor. I think it gets misconstrued because he's so tall that he's good in the air, and I think actually he's better when the ball's
Yeah,
at his feet.
he
He
looks
makes
awkward.
he looks awkward. So does Adebayo, and it works for
Oh
him.
yeah.
You know, he's got a touch of the Elijah Adebayo's when the ball's at his feet. You never know what he's going to do. But
I stand by my
I
claim that if Nordas shaved his head, right, a nice buzz cut, he'd look like a beast, and I think he'd get picked. Just shave your head,
that's all it
Nordas.
is.
That's all it
Yeah,
is. Decent
that
haircut.
must be it. I think the biggest thing that I had issue with Nordas really wasn't with him. It was the way we played football when he was on the pitch. And I think that's the problem. We just sort of lump it up when actually we're still better playing through the thirds when he's there. But yeah,
But the
I think I'm
opportunity he
with
was
you.
getting was late on, wasn't it, as well? He was getting a lot of opportunities
Yeah,
late on. Like, get on there, get us a goal, you know? Don't matter how you get it, just get it. It might come in the air, it might give you it on the floor. You've got to try and get a goal. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
He was thrown in a little bit with that. But again, it's like I said earlier, it's because we didn't have the depth in the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, Yates needs to play a part. I feel like he hasn't got the minutes, and okay, Al-Hamadi kind of took the crown, but he's our number 9. We did sign him for that. He's the one he's got the age still. He's got the pedigree in this league. He should be finding the back of the net. I don't know. For me, I think it's getting Yates more minutes to get him up to speed, because my opinion is that even though it'd be nice for Wells to have the confidence, he shouldn't be the player that we go to first, as you said already. So I don't know whether it's a priority thing, but yeah, I mean, we've got to change things around. And then obviously we've got as you say, the reflow derby on the Friday, which I'm sure will be fun to see what sort of reception Robbie Savage gets at Kenilworth Road. They're going to be tough to beat though. Forest Green, they're doing very well in the league. They've done, I say they've done well in the rounds leading up to the first round for them, but I think they were favourites in every single one of their
We've
couple
come
of
a
rounds
long
they played
way
first.
since beating them. What was it, 6-1 in non-league, and they had a badge that looked like Barcelona's badge or something like that. So
Well, yeah,
they've come a long way. Robbie Savage is doing a good job there. That's another game I think we need to win. I mean, a lot of people say focus on the league, but like I said earlier, confidence comes through wins. It doesn't matter how you get them. It doesn't matter which player scores, really, as long as you get the wins. If we can beat Brighton's under-21s, and trust me, social media is going to be completely. 2 years ago, we were playing the actual Brighton team.
Yeah,
They never played the under-21s. God forbid we go 1-0 down on Tuesday. It'd be hell on social media. But we need to win these 2 games. Carry on in the cups for now, because it's going to breed the right confidence through the whole squad.
Yeah.
Take us into Stockport on a good note, because with that Rotherham game's definitely getting called off, isn't it? For international.
Yeah, Rotherham game's getting called off, and then it's Barnsley, I think, isn't it, away from home after that? Both those games. I think Barnsley are doing terribly, I think, at the moment, but Stockport's going to be the big test away from home. So I thought this league had games every 5 minutes. I swear we don't play in the league at all at the moment.
It feels quite sparse at the moment. It really
is. Yeah. I'm assuming we're going to have to just play about 20 games in a couple of weeks towards the end of the season to make up for all of these international breaks.
I hate it because I enjoy my Saturdays travelling down from Leeds to the game, and then I put them on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, which are far from ideal. So I have to pick and choose after that. But look, if we win them, I don't care about not being there. But let's get them won.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tuesday nights under the lights, it'd be nice to get that back as well, wouldn't it? Because still, despite the playoff semi-final, it's probably the best game at Kenilworth Road in my lifetime, I suggest. The best league game that I've seen within the normal season at Kenilworth Road was in this league against Pompey. And nothing beats when it's bounced on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday, but usually Tuesday, right? Although this league weirdly has a Thursday night game occasionally as well. That's ridiculous.
I know.
That is utterly ridiculous.
The powers that be are slowly ushering these changes in. I mean, the Premier League played 4 games today, didn't they, all at the same time? It's just ridiculous, I can't deal with it. It just blows your weekend out completely. Not that I care about watching Premier League football that much, but it's nice to have it on in the background, Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Go on.
No, I was just saying, nice to see Ross Barkley putting his body on the line to keep Aston Villa's result. I watched that last bit of the game. I wonder where he got that from.
That's where that piece of the jigsaw puzzle went, eh? That's the
Let's not go back there. Let's not go back there.
No, of course not. I just saw before we started this pod that the top candidate for the Reading job is now Matt Bloomfield. What do you think to that?
He was top candidate for Blackpool as well, and
apparently channels have been opened.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's just one of those things. Look, I think Reading and Blackpool will be more the fit for him. I still think there's a fair bit of pressure will be on him at a club like Reading, because they're a big club, and Blackpool as well. But look, I don't think he's a particularly bad manager at all. I think he can do well, but it was just too big a job for him. It was too big a job at that time, and I think it was the kind of recruitment. I think Reading now are currently sitting, if I look at the table, they're a couple of points off relegation. Having said that, that the league table's ridiculously close. I think we're only 7 points now from the top spot.
Yeah, I think they beat Northampton last week at home, and then
they
lose on Saturday. I mean, not
they drew.
was, but it's just
They,
it's interesting to
yeah,
see.
yeah. I think they drew against Doncaster. It's not a bad result, although Doncaster are dropping a little bit off from where they were, aren't they? But yeah, I think he'll probably he's a good manager at the level, and he'll do well at a club without the same level of pressure on him. I think he'll
Well,
be
I'll tell you
fine.
where he goes. He goes to Peterborough. That's where he goes.
Yeah, you know what he
Local
might
team for
do?
him.
Yeah, be a bit more local as well.
It will be a bit more
Traveling from
local.
Felixstowe. We had this geography conversation last time with Ollie, although if you've
I'm-
not
yeah.
seen it, I'm sure you have. Ollie's geography leaves a lot to be decided, but he is right that if he's traveling from Felixstowe, that is a long old way.
I actually
So,
unfollowed Ollie on everything once I found out he didn't know where Felixstowe was. Not that it's important to me, but I just feel like, you know, if you're going to bring it
yeah.
up, you should know where it is, Ollie.
Yeah, absolutely. You should have heard some of the ones he said before. Kate shout, MK Dons. Yeah, that's a decent shout. I think they lost to Bromley at the weekend, which made me titter when I saw it online. So MK Dons, yeah, that's. I suppose it'll be down the road. There will be less pressure there.
I'll tell you what, though, is the reason I bring it up is there's an infatuation with watching our former managers and players at the moment, which I don't think helps the club. Especially on Saturday, Luke Berry scored, Carlton Morris scored, Fred Onyedinma scored, Corley Woodrow scored, and social media, as it does, was just like, we need these players back, we need these players back. You know, you can romanticize these players. We don't need them back. They're not coming back. But then
No
on
one
the
called
other
for
hand,
Corley back, did they?
well,
I didn't see that one.
He's only on loan, right?
He's on loan, yeah. He's on loan, but his contract's up at the end of the season, I think.
Just doesn't want to let go of that big Premier League money, does he?
That's
But in the same light, they're in our league pretty much, apart from Carl Morris. I saw a lot of Sheffield United fans over the weekend asking if they had the receipt for Mark McGuinness and could he be sent back to us.
Oh God, yeah, they were 2-0 up, 3-2 down, right?
Chong as well. Chong and McGuinness. Sheffield United feel like we've scammed them, and I probably couldn't disagree with them.
I mean, all they had to do was watch last season. I mean, that's the thing. Like, yeah, it's crazy to think that they thought they were going to get anything out of Chong. I mean, McGuinness, fair enough, but yeah, crazy.
I mean, I would love to know the story on Bim Pepple, who went to Plymouth, because he was getting pelters as well when they lost the game to Exeter. I mean, he's fallen out of favour there. A lot of people on his back. If he was playing, I mean, he's playing in the same league as us. I didn't understand why we let him go, but maybe that's maybe the reason's becoming very clear. I don't know, but I think one thing that does annoy me at the moment is that we do need to get behind the team. We do need to support the club, and I know we do it. And it's not calling anybody out here, but I think we need to stop looking back.
Listen, I think that'll change. I think it'll change now. We've got Wilshere in as well. I think that will change a little bit more. I think that the big driver for that was Bloomfield in press conferences and his complete antithesis to Nathan Jones. And that difference, that complete polar difference, I'm not saying one's always right and one's always wrong, but that difference when you're not winning games and you're struggling in League One while you see Nathan Jones ripping up the Championship, I think it forces people to make those comparisons. But you're right, they don't help anyone, and they certainly don't help, they don't help your feeling of your own club, but I do think it'll change now. I think there is a real excitement and buzz about Wilshere, and now you can see it happening on the pitch as well. You can see the huddle at the end. The players at the end of that game, I've not seen that animated. Even when we beat Watford 3-0 last season, and it was a walk-off. There was a couple of celebrations, but Rob Edwards did not come across at that end of that game looking like he did when we beat them the first time round when we went up. It was a very different feeling.
You know what? You're bang on, and I think that goes to show that last year we had individual players. This year, now Jack Wilshere's come in. Maybe we're building a good team of players. It is about that collective mentality, right? Last year it was like, look at me, I've done this. I think they're showing that they're a united group now, which is quite important.
Yeah, shades of John Still about the end of that game, and I'm all for it. It's so good to see.
His hair is looking like it's going John Still a bit as well.
Oh my God, quickly. Yeah, but he's all right on the belly front for now, so I think we're okay. Right. I think unless we've got any other callers, we'll have a look, see if there's anything else on the chat, and then we'll probably call it an evening. But it was good to get a couple of people in, good to get people's opinions on it as well. I think everyone's feeling pretty positive, and yeah, a few people asking after Ollie. Yeah, unfortunately Ollie's back, but hopefully we'll be feeling better. But yeah, thoughts with you, and he's not really been trolling the chat as well. I was expecting far more.
Ollie
So
got
yeah,
arrested in
appreciate
Northampton
that.
for celebrating.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest here. Let's just be honest.
That's it.
He's hanging out with Danny Hilton, and you know,
Danny Hilton's banned from Northampton, mate. He's not
and
allowed anywhere near that place.
who's that one from Wicket? Mark Harriman. He's played for
Oh
Northampton.
yeah.
Hasn't he?
Oh, he was a
Yeah, there you
great
go.
player.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Ollie,
had him on
Harriman,
loan.
Gutteridge. We had him on
Yeah.
loan. Then he was permanent, wasn't he? Sure, he was permanent.
Was he
for a bit.
permanent afterwards? Yeah, he was fantastic player. Yeah, and obviously got a soft spot for Northampton, but not Sixfields. Sixfields can absolutely do one. Oh, I can't stand that ground. Maybe it's a bit better with the new stand. Oh, absolutely. But yeah, a few people had talked about the same things that we've been saying. Yeah, in terms of wanting strikers back, etc. But yeah, and asking after Ollie. But yeah, in terms of other content, yeah, hopefully we'll be back in the middle of the week to start talking about the result from the Virtue Trophy game and previewing the FA Cup on Friday in the Reflow Derby. Do you think Forest Green are going to wear that absolutely appalling third kit that they've got? That would be interesting. You could wear the green versus that.
We should both wear green.
Yeah, in support, and then a tree for every goal. Yeah,
in fact, Reflow demands that we both wear green.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
don't get me started on this whole sock thing.
Oh yeah,
right? I would take this. I would die on this mountain that them socks should not be white at home. They should be orange.
It's all over the place. It's like randomly choosing all the different bits of the kit that you can do,
and the black socks for a green kit. You know, black socks. They've just got them from, I don't know, Sports Direct on the way to a game, haven't they? Sort the socks out, will you, Gary?
Sort the socks and sort the badge. But anyway, yeah, fine. Yeah, we should be back midweek with that, and then obviously we'll be back next Sunday to talk about it afterwards as well. And hopefully, you know, Stevie can come and join us as well, because yeah, good chat for the last 2 weeks, and well, so far you got 1 win and 1 loss. But let's hope we keep the wins going next time you're on, and we do one of these phone-ins again. Brilliant. Okay, well. Cheers. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in, listening live or listening back. Like and subscribe as always, and we'll catch you in the middle of the week. But until then, of course, nearly forgot because Ollie does this every week. Come on, you Hatters.